Most anime games, cash grabs. They take your favorite series, slap together some basic combat, and call it a day. You've been burned before, but these 15 games, they're different. Deep combat systems, gorgeous visuals that still hold up, stories that actually respect the source material. We're counting down the anime adaptations that are actually worth your money. Let's go.
Number 15, Gundam Battle Assault 2. So this one's old, PS1 old, but it's still one of the best Gundam fighting games ever made, and I'll die on that hill. You're piloting the iconic mobile suits, Death Scythe Age, Queen Mantha, Sazabi, Wing Zero, through Street Mode, which takes you through the One-Year War, the 13th Gundam fight, and the entire Gundam Wing storyline. And every single suit plays completely different. Death Scythe is fast, aggressive, gets in your face with that beam scythe. Queen Mantha sits back and controls space with funnels. Sazabi hits like an absolute truck, but moves like one too. The PS1 graphics, yeah, they're dated, obviously. But here's why this game still works. Every mobile suit has such a distinctive silhouette, such an iconic design that you recognize them instantly. When you see Wing Zero spread those angel wings and charge up the Twin Buster rifle, you feel that anime moment. When Death Scythe goes invisible, when Sazabi's funnels spread out, these are the moments burned into every Gundam fan's brain. The arenas pull from different series. You're fighting in space colonies one match, crashing through desert battlefields the next. Special move animations captured the key attacks. So when you land that ultimate, it's a callback to the exact moment from the show. If you grew up watching Gundam, this is required homework. It proves that strong art direction will always beat raw graphical power.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you. This game had a low budget. The story mode looks rough, the presentation is bare bones, and you can tell they didn't have the money to compete with the big boys. But A-Ting made this, and A-Ting knows how to make fighting games. That expertise is doing all the heavy lifting here. 16 character roster, and not a single weak link in terms of gameplay. Gon balances offense and defense with his Jajangken rock, paper, scissors attacks. You're charging up, making reads, committing to your choice. Killua is pure lightning speed rushdown, just zipping around with Godspeed. Kurapika has that deadly precision with Chain Jail, locking it down if you're playing the wrong character. And Kite sits way back with those ranged gun attacks, playing keep away all day. The tag mechanics? Excellent. You can swap mid-combo to extend your offense, tag in to cover bad situations, create pressure with assists. It's a legit 2v2 tag fighter with actual depth. Characters synergize in different ways. Aggressive rushdown paired with defensive zoning, or double up on pressure and overwhelm. So why isn't this higher? The budget shows. Story mode cutscenes are basic, environments are simple, visual polish isn't there. But when you're in a match, when you're swapping between Killua and Gon mid-combo, when you're setting up Kurapika's chains while your partner applies pressure, the gameplay design shines through. If you can get past the presentation, there's a legitimately fun fighter here. For Hunter x Hunter fans starving for a good game, this scratches that itch way better than it has any right to.
Number 13, Bleach Rebirth of Souls. This is the Bleach game fans have been waiting for. Finally, you're playing through Ichigo's journey from substitute Soul Reaper to the final battle with Aizen. Soul Society, Arrancar Arc, Hueco Mundo, all the major beats are here. The combat system is genuinely smart. 2 health bars working together. Reishi is your main health that depletes with attacks. Compok is your lives. Most characters start with 8 or 9. When Reishi hits 0, you lose 1 Compok and it resets. You win by destroying all opponents' Compok. Keycon moves are finishing moves you trigger when opponents' Reishi drops below 30%. Land 1 and you destroy multiple Compok. Deplete their Reishi completely, Soul Break. A powered-up Keycon that can wipe out up to 5 Compok if you're awakened. Awakening builds fighting spirit as you fight. Pop it and your moves get enhanced, damage increases. It's a comeback mechanic that requires actual skill. Reverse actions are perfectly timed counters. Button mashing gets you killed. Shikai and Bankai transformations fundamentally change how characters play. Ichigo gets his hollow mask, Byakuya's Sembone Sakurara spreads across the arena. They're strategic decisions, not just visual. 31 characters at launch, with DLC adding more. Story mode is 10 to 15 hours, covering the first 5 arcs. Critics gave it a 72, praised the dual health system and strategic depth. This is a proper fighting game, not an action RPG. Strategic, technical, rewarding when you master it. If you're a Bleach fan tired of mobile gacha games, this is what you've been asking for.
Number 12, Jujutsu Kaisen Cursed Clash. First console Jujutsu Kaisen game. Bandai Namco went with 2v2 arena brawler combat, focused on explosive animations and team coordination. Every character plays to their anime abilities perfectly. Nobara uses nails for ranged poke and pressure. Todo excels up close with Boogie Woogie. And that tag switching mechanic is just as disruptive in gameplay as it is in the show. You think you're fighting Todo, suddenly you're facing his partner instead. Fushiguro summons Shikigami for immobilization setups. You're using these abilities to lock opponents down so your partner can go in for big damage. The curse technique animations are where this game shines. When Gojo uses Limitless, when Sukuna unleashes Cleave, when Nobara triggers Resonance, these are spectacle moments that look pulled straight from the anime. The downside, this got panned pretty hard at launch. Content felt thin, story mode was weak, gameplay loop got repetitive fast. For a full-price console release, it didn't have the depth to justify the cost. But if you're a massive Jujutsu Kaisen fan who just wants to play with these characters, wants to see their techniques animated well, wants to mess around with team compositions, it scratches that itch. Just maybe wait for a sale.
Number 11, Infinity Strash Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai. This adapts a manga and anime series that's way less known in the West, Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai. The game covers about half the manga's narrative focus, mixing action RPG combat with heavy story focus. They used static anime images directly from the source material for story cutscenes. You're seeing actual anime frames integrated into the game, which creates this direct visual connection. Then gameplay sections use rendered 3D graphics, and the transition between the two styles is handled well. Combat is action-focused, with cooldown-based abilities. Dai dominates with sword combat, Pop sits back with ranged magic, Mom supports with healing. The character switching keeps combat from getting stale. The Temple of Recollection offers roguelike style dungeon crawling for endgame, randomized layouts, tougher enemies, build variety. The problem is pacing. Covering half a long manga means some arcs feel rushed while others drag, and the roguelike dungeon feels separate from the main experience. But for Dragon Quest fans or people curious about this lesser-known anime series, it's a solid entry point. The integration of actual anime imagery is smart, and the action combat is approachable enough to carry a story-heavy RPG.
At number 10, we've got Fairy Tail. Gust made this, same studio behind the Atelier series, and they brought their expertise in character art and turn-based combat to Fairy Tail. 16 playable characters, each with unique abilities pulled from the anime. The game picks up after the 7-year time skip, and you're rebuilding the Fairy Tail Guild's reputation from nothing. There's this progression loop where you're taking on bigger contracts, ranking up the guild, recruiting members, upgrading facilities. Combat emphasizes magical spectacle through extravagant visual effects. Magic chain mechanics let you trigger combo attacks from all party members. You're stacking abilities, creating synergies. Unison raids power up characters for special combo moves. Extreme magic lets non-party guild members join in with unique spells. The combat animations are legitimately impressive. Natsu's Fire Dragon Iron Fist has weight and impact. Urza's sword flurries are choreographed beautifully. Gray's ice magic has that crystalline visual quality. Gust focused on making each character's signature spells feel powerful and authentic. Where it stumbles is repetition. The quest structure is basic: go here, fight enemies, return. Story beats are predictable if you've watched the anime. Character building doesn't have the depth of hardcore JRPGs. But for Fairy Tail fans, this is comfort food. You're hanging out with the guild, hearing characters banter with full voice acting, triggering their iconic attacks in beautiful animation. If you just want a vibe in the Fairy Tail world with turn-based combat that looks great, this delivers.
Number 9. My Hero One's Justice 2. 40 playable characters from My Hero Academia, double the first game's roster. And while the gameplay isn't revolutionary, that expanded character variety and smooth arena brawler combat make this the best My Hero game available. The cel-shaded visuals nail the anime look. Characters appear exactly like they do in the show. Each fighter has their unique quirk fully realized in gameplay.
Deku's full cowling affects his movement speed and attack properties. Bakugo is aggressive rushdown with explosion mobility. Todoroki controls space with ice walls and fire blasts. All Might is the ultimate powerhouse with devastating attacks. Every character has distinct costume designs and visual effects tied to their quirk. When Tokuyami unleashes Dark Shadow, when Uraraka makes things float, when Endeavor goes full prominence burn. The visual effects are character-specific and authentic to the show. Combat animations capture each character's personality through their fighting style. Aida is fast and kick-focused. Kirishima tanks hits and counters. Toga is tricky with knife rushdown. Just watching how characters move tells you about their personality. The Arena Brawler format is accessible, easy to pick up, but there's depth for players who want to lab combos, learn quirk interactions, optimize damage routes. The downside is content and modes. Story mode is basic, mission variety is limited, and if you're not into competitive matches, you'll exhaust single-player content quickly. It's a game best enjoyed in bursts with friends. But for My Hero fans who want to play with every character, who want to see quirks translated faithfully into gameplay, One's Justice 2 nails it.
Number 8, Digimon Story, Cyber Sleuth Complete Edition. This is the complete edition with both Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory, 249 obtainable Digimon, over 50 hours of gameplay, extensive post-game content with Royal Knights and 7 Great Demon Lords. Cyber Sleuth beats Digimon Survive for traditional RPG fans because of content volume and monster collection depth. Survive has better story, but it's a visual novel with tactical battles. Cyber Sleuth is a traditional turn-based monster taming RPG with way more side quests, way more replay value.
The narrative is surprisingly deep. Cyberpunk mystery, detective work, complex lore centered on Eden, the virtual world. You're a half-digitized data echo, which lets you move between cyberspace and the real world. You're investigating cases, uncovering conspiracies, dealing with existential questions about digital existence. Combat is turn-based with 3 Digimon teams. Deep evolution mechanics mean you're digivolving and de-digivolving constantly to access different forms, learn new abilities, optimize stats. Status effects matter. You're managing type advantages, exploiting weaknesses, building teams with synergy. The visual appeal is the Digimon themselves. 249 creatures with unique appearances from cute rookie forms to massive mega-level beasts. Each Digimon has recognizable design from the anime, which hits longtime fans with nostalgia constantly. The cell shading keeps everything looking sharp despite originating in 2015 on PS Vita. Turn-based combat lets the game focus visual resources on creature design and attack animations. When Wargramion launches Gaia Force, when Omnimon uses Transcendent Sword, these attacks have visual impact. The postgame is where this really shines. Royal Knight super bosses, 7 Great Demon Lords, completing the full Digimon roster. There's content for 100+ hours if you're a completionist. If you want a monster taming RPG with depth, with hundreds of creatures to collect, with a story that's more than just become champion, Cyber Sleuth delivers.
Number 7, Granblue Fantasy Relink. This is the technical peak of JRPG anime aesthetics. Cygames accomplished something ridiculously difficult. They translated mobile 2D character art into 3D without compromising the original aesthetic. Most games that try this fail. The 3D models look like plastic action figures, the charm is gone. Relink doesn't have that problem because they maintain distinctive character proportions and illustration style through innovative modeling and animation techniques. Story cutscenes have animation quality rivaling award-winning anime productions, sophisticated camera angles, dramatic zoom-ins, expressive character faces, 34 voice actors, 6 hours of story cutscenes, all professionally performed. The technical breakdown is wild. Hand-painted procedural backgrounds recreate the original game's painted appearance. Characters use flat shading with horizontal shading lines in the textures, making them look like moving illustrations instead of 3D models. Combat is real-time character action RPG at 60 FPS, 18 playable characters, each with distinct playstyles. Gran is your balanced all-arounder, Catalina is defensive with ice magic. Lancelot is speed-focused with dual blades. Narmaya has stance switching. Every character feels unique, plays unique, looks unique. The Fates episodes system is brilliant for lore. You're unlocking origin stories for characters, discovering narrative context. So even though this is a sequel/spin-off, you're not lost. The game teaches you about these characters through optional story content. This game prioritizes artistic identity over graphical spectacle. Every element is grounded in illustration principles, intentional line work, deliberate color choices, painterly backgrounds. And that choice is why Relink will age beautifully. 10 years from now, this will still look incredible because it's not dependent on raw hardware power. It shows painted aesthetics over polygon counts. Boss fights are spectacular, massive creatures with multiple phases, screen-filling attacks, cinematic camera work. The painted aesthetic actually helps gameplay readability. If you want to see what's possible when a developer fully commits to anime illustration in 3D, when they refuse to compromise on art direction, Relink is the standard.
Number 6, Sword Art Online Hollow Realization. This is the sweet spot in SAO games. While Alicization Licorice recreates the underworld with impressive scale, Hollow Realization offers more complete experience with better gameplay balance. Full character customization, build your avatar how you want, 100 plus recruitable characters, which is insane roster depth. Diverse equipment buildouts encouraging experimentation, optional dating simulator mechanics. It's basically SAO fanfiction generator the game. Hollow Realization refined the combat system from earlier SAO games. MediaVision found their footing here with action combat that feels good moment to moment. You're chaining sword skills, managing cooldowns, positioning for advantage, swapping between party members. The party system lets you recruit basically any NPC. 4 characters total in your active party. That flexibility means you can run your favorite character combinations, experiment with team synergies. Equipment variety is extensive. Different weapon types, armor sets, accessories, each affecting your stats and playstyle. You're building towards specific character archetypes. Tank, DPS, support. The customization depth keeps the gameplay loop engaging for dozens of hours. The Director's Cut PS4 version upgraded graphics significantly from the original PS Vita release. Improved HD textures, enhanced character models, better lighting. What makes Hollow Realization work is the focus on character relationships and anime-style character design. The dating sim elements, the character recruitment, the party interactions, visual appeal comes from expressive character work and voice acting. The downside is the story. It's not adapting any specific SAO arc, it's original narrative. But if you want the most complete SAO gameplay experience with maximum customization, Hollow Realization is the answer. For SAO fans who want to live in that world, who want to customize their experience, who want dozens of characters to interact with, this is the most content-rich option.
Number 5, .hack/GU Last Recode. This is the remastered PS2 trilogy from CyberConnect 2, action RPG that simulates playing a fictional MMO called The World. It's a game about playing a game, which creates this unique meta-narrative framing. The story is a canonical sequel to the .hack Roots anime. You're playing Haseo, tracking down a player killer called Tri-Edge, whose actions leave real-life players in comas. So there's this urgency. People are actually getting hurt. The stakes are real, despite the virtual setting. What makes GU fascinating is the MMO simulation. You're checking forums, reading player complaints, dealing with in-game drama, managing guild relationships. The game recreates the social experience of MMOs, the community interactions, the politics, the player culture. The enhanced PS2-era cell shading maintains the intentional stylized virtual reality aesthetic. Because the game is deliberately simulating a fictional early 2000s MMO, the graphics are supposed to look like that era. The stylization is part of the world building. CyberConnect 2's expertise shows in the combat. Fast-paced action with weapon switching, skill rotations, combo potential. You're fighting through instance dungeons, taking on boss monsters. It feels like an MMO without requiring other players. The charm is in the details. Fake player usernames with typical MMO naming conventions, guild halls with message boards, in-game email from NPCs. All these elements sell the illusion that you're inside a living MMO community. The trilogy structure means you're getting 60+ hours of story across 3 volumes. Character development spans the entire saga.
Mysteries build and resolve over dozens of hours. For players interested in gaming history and how developers experimented with meta-narratives, GU is fascinating. For anime fans who want a JRPG with surprising narrative depth and unique framing device, it delivers. And for anyone who misses the early 2000s MMO era, it's pure nostalgia.
Number 4. Demon Slayer: The Hinokami Chronicles. CyberConnect 2 at their best. The Hinokami Chronicles has jaw-dropping boss animations and cinematic presentation that rivals the anime itself, and sometimes surpasses it. The character models are exceptional. Every expression during cutscenes, every subtle facial movement, it's all rendered with care. CC2 clearly reveres the franchise. Every Ultimate Arts move gets special animation treatment. Tanjiro's water-breathing forms flow with liquid grace. Nezuko's blood demon art erupts with vibrant reds. Zenitsu's thunderclap and flash is a literal blur of yellow lightning. These aren't just gameplay attacks. They're animated spectacles recreating iconic moments from the anime. The English and Japanese dubbing is brilliant. Voice actors deliver performances with the same intensity as the show. Dramatic moments land because the voice work sells the emotion. Boss fights are where Hinokami Chronicles becomes must-play. Cinematic camera angles, dynamic transitions between phases, environmental destruction. When you fight Rui, when you face Akaza, when you battle through the Mugen train arc, these are set-piece moments designed to be visually spectacular. Character fighting animations are bold and authentic. Inosuke's dual-blade style, Gyu's calm, precise water breathing, Rengoku's overwhelming flame breathing, each character moves exactly like their anime counterpart. The animation captures not just their techniques, but their personality through combat choreography. Transitions between gameplay and cutscenes are seamless. You're fighting, the camera pulls back, a cutscene starts, and you can't tell where one ends and the other begins. Why does it still look incredible? Because CC2 prioritized aesthetic authenticity over graphical specifications. By faithfully recreating the anime visual style, they achieved timeless appeal. The downside is content. Story mode covers the first season in Mugen Train Arc. If you've watched the show, you know what happens. The versus mode is fun, but not super deep for competitive players. But if you want to experience Demon Slayer's best moments in interactive form, if you want boss fights that feel like playable anime episodes, Hinokami Chronicles is essential. The commitment to visual excellence means this will age gracefully. 10 years from now, it'll still look like Demon Slayer because it nailed the aesthetic completely. Number 3. One Piece Odyssey. ILCA made this, and they understood the assignment. Traditional turn-based command RPG with the complete Straw Hat crew in a brand new adventure that also revisits classic arcs. The World of Memories device is brilliant narrative design. The crew lands on Wofford, loses their powers, and has to relive key past moments to regain abilities. This lets the game tell a focused new story while revisiting Alabasta, Water 7, Marineford, arcs that fans love. Combat is structurally unique with the Scramble battle area system. The battlefield divides into different zones, and enemies spread across them. You're assigning characters to different areas, managing positioning, exploiting the attack triangle. Power beats ranged, ranged beats technique, technique beats power. Every Straw Hat plays to their strengths. Luffy is your aggressive frontliner, Zoro dishes massive damage, Sanji focuses on kicks and speed, Nami provides elemental control, Usopp has range debuffs, Chopper heals, Robin controls groups, Frankie brings heavy damage, and Brook has status effects. Each character fills a tactical role. The visuals maintain quality through crisp, vibrant cell shading that translates Eiichiro Oda's exaggerated designs into 3D. Luffy's stretchy limbs, Zoro's serious scowl, Nami's over-the-top expressions, the character personalities come through. Turn-based format lets ILCA dedicate resources to cinematic presentation and spectacular character-specific special attacks. When Luffy unleashes Gum Gum Red Rock, when Zoro performs 3000 Worlds, when Sanji goes Diable Jambe, these attacks get full animation sequences with dramatic camera work. The story is surprisingly meaty. 30 to 40 hours for the main campaign, side quests with character development, post-game challenges. Where it stumbles is pacing. Some dungeons drag, random encounters can feel excessive. The memory sequences are great the first time, but you're revisiting story beats fans already know. If you're not already a One Piece fan, the game assumes familiarity. But for One Piece fans who've always wanted a full-scale RPG, who want to control the crew in tactical battles, who want gorgeous cel-shaded visuals, Odyssey delivers. The attack animations show the love. Each ultimate move is choreographed to match that character's iconic moments.
At number 2, Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. This is the best Naruto game, period. The culmination of the entire Ultimate Ninja Storm series with superior combat mechanics, story depth, and technical achievement. CyberConnect 2 put everything into this. New mechanics that revolutionized the series, mid-fight character swapping for the first time, letting you tag between team members during combos, status effects dependent on stage environment and jutsu used. If Sasuke performs Chidori on water, damage increases significantly. The boss fights are the best in the franchise. Naruto vs. Sasuke final battle, Madara's rampage, Kaguya's dimension shifting. These are set-piece moments with multiple phases, cinematic transitions, quick-time events that enhance rather than interrupt. Combat animations feature fluid transformations and signature techniques. When Naruto goes Kurama mode, when Sasuke activates Susanoo, when Guy opens the 8th gate, these transformations are visually spectacular with screen-filling effects and authentic animation. The roster is massive. Every major character from Shippuden, multiple forms for key fighters, DLC characters from Boruto. Team composition matters because of the new swap mechanics. You're building synergies, covering weaknesses, creating pressure with assists. Character models are expressive during story sequences. Facial animations convey emotion during dramatic moments. Cutscenes look incredible, often matching or exceeding the anime's visual quality. The arena fighter format provides freedom of movement in 3D space. You're dashing, jumping, substitution jutsu for dodges, wall running for positioning. Combat feels dynamic and fast-paced. The skill ceiling is high for competitive play, but casual players can button mash and have fun. What makes Storm 4 timeless is the commitment to anime-style visuals, with bold cell shading and dynamic lighting. The game doesn't try to look realistic, it tries to look like Naruto, and it succeeds completely. The story mode is comprehensive, covering the 4th Great Ninja War through to the final battle. If you haven't finished Shippuden, this is a beautiful way to experience the conclusion. The downside is, it's not an RPG, it's an arena fighter. But if you want the definitive Naruto combat experience, the best boss fights, the most content, the prettiest visuals, Storm 4 is unmatched. For Naruto fans, this is required. It's the complete package. Comprehensive story, massive roster, deep combat, gorgeous visuals. CC2 proved they're the masters of anime adaptation with Storm 4.
All right, this is it. The most comprehensive playable archive of Dragon Ball Z ever made. CyberConnect 2's magnum opus. Kakarot covers the entire canonical DBZ storyline, Saiyan Saga through Majin Buu Saga, plus anime filler. This isn't just hitting the major beats. You're training with King Kai, fishing with Gohan, experiencing the downtime moments between world-ending threats. Open world design lets you explore iconic locations. Capsule Corp, Kame House, World Tournament Arena, Namek's Green Skies, the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. You're flying around as Goku, Vegeta, Gohan between story missions, and the exploration isn't empty. Side quests with Z-Fighters, training challenges, collectibles, cooking ingredients for permanent stat buffs. Combat is high-octane aerial action. Fast-paced, 3D battles with melee combos, ki blasts, signature techniques, transformations. When you go Super Saiyan, when you charge a Kamehameha, it feels exactly like the anime fights. RPG mechanics add depth, character progression with skill trees, equipment loadouts, cooking for buffs. You're building your character, optimizing stats, preparing for tougher challenges. Boss battles are spectacular. Vegeta's first arrival, Frieza's transformations, Perfect Cell, Majin Buu. These fights get multiple phases, dynamic cutscenes, authentic moments from the anime. When Goku and Frieza clash on dying Namek, when Gohan goes SSJ2 against Cell, you're controlling the action. The visual fidelity is unparalleled. CC2's Unreal Engine 4 cell shading makes 3D models look like 2D anime cells. The models perfectly capture Toriyama's style. The iconic proportions, distinctive faces, vibrant energy effects, high-speed battle animations look exactly like the anime. This isn't approximation, this is faithful recreation. Character moments outside combat matter. Bulma nagging Vegeta, Goku being a loving but clueless father, Piccolo mentoring Gohan. These beats are fully voiced, often with original anime voice actors. DLC expanded the content significantly. Battle of Gods, Resurrection F, more playable characters, harder challenges. Next-gen updates in 2023 improved visuals and performance. Where critics nitpick, some environments lack detail, certain side quests or fetch quests, pacing, drags during Buu Saga, valid complaints. But these don't diminish the core achievement. This is the most complete single-player DBZ experience ever made. This game ages beautifully because it's not chasing photorealism. The cel-shaded style will always look good because it's targeting the anime itself. As long as you love Dragon Ball Z, Kakarot will look amazing. For fans who grew up with DBZ, who dreamed of flying around as a Super Saiyan, this is the game. It's a legitimate open-world action RPG with dozens of hours of content and visual authenticity that honors Toriyama's legacy. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is #1 because it represents everything this list celebrates. Stylized graphics that transcend hardware generations, character design authenticity, combat that feels authentic to the source material, and a commitment to respecting the anime. This is the bar. Every anime adaptation should aspire to this level of quality.
So that's the list. 15 anime games that understood the assignment. The common thread? They didn't chase photorealism. They chased authenticity. Stylized graphics, character design fidelity, animation quality over polygon counts. That's why these games still look incredible today. If you're an anime fan, if you've been burned by bad adaptations before, start with these. These are the games that actually respect the source material. And if I missed your favorite, drop it in the comments. Let's argue about it. Thanks for watching.